What's up, YouTube? Mr. Lamessy here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Sunder charms and the Cold Sorceress specifically, because a lot of people are losing their minds over this, and I think there's some reason to, and also some reason not to, right? I think people are going too far with it, and, you know, the initial reaction does feel really strong and feel overpowered and stuff. And again, maybe it slightly is in some ways, but I think we should just get in and discuss the details of what's happening. So, let us just write down again some facts. You have the Sunder charm, and this is, we'll say, for the cold version, right? And it is monsters cannot be cold immune. That is what it does. And then obviously minus 75% cold resist. Right? So these are the facts of the charm. Now, before this charm exists, right, when this charm purely has no existence, this is how the Cold Sorceress deals with monsters. So we'll draw like this. Actually, hold up. Somebody taught me how to draw better. Oh, wait, that's not working. Oh, I need to do it with lines. I just drew really straight lines there. So we'll do this, and we'll put on this resistances. And then this will be like monster types or immunity types, right? So we'll have fire, light, cold, poison, and then you have like fizz and magic, right? But not many monsters are immune to fizz and magic. Okay, so this was how it existed. We'll say 0 is here, 100 is here, minus 100 is here. So, for normal monsters, you're gonna have, you know, it'll have 100 or greater than 100 fire or whatever it is, greater than 100 light, cold, blah, blah, blah. But for cold, this should be like cold monster. Yeah, whatever. For how it takes cold damage, so we'll label this, how cold damage hurts it, or whatever. This is the cold res. You understand what I'm saying. Now the thing is, with cold mastery, every single monster is at minus 100, except cold immune monsters. This is literally how a sorceress currently functions. Get rid of this for now. A cold sorceress brings every single monster, and this is the cold res. So not immunity types, but cold resist of monsters with different immunity types. Right? That's a better axis description. So a fire immune monster, a light immune monster, a poison, a physical, a magical immune monster, all of these will take the maximum cold resistance, or maximum cold damage there, because their cold resistance is going to be at minus 100. And the reason for this is because cold mastery works differently than fire mastery. Minus monster percent, cold res percent. Okay? So, fire mastery is plus fire percent damage. Light mastery is plus light percent damage. It is just Cold Mastery that's going to be bringing down the resistances of monsters. So, currently, with every monster type except for a cold immune monster, the cold source does its negative 100% to their cold resist and then all of its blizzard damage. So all that this Sunder Charm is actually doing, let's bring it back up and cut off there, immune. All that this is doing is now saying this goes down here. You guys understand. This is not working great, but you get it. So now, cold monsters will also have that minus 100% cold resist because you can break it so they go down to 95% cold res, and then you do cold mastery so you get minus 195%, which will take more investment, and then it'll bring it down to negative 100. Mastery, so total is minus 100%. Okay? So again, the cold source isn't immediately jumping into this world where now it's doing 10 times the damage and it's blowing everything up, and it already did that essentially before, because it already had all of that damage. Like, nothing is changing for any monster except for a monster that previously was cold immune. That is literally the only change that is occurring, where it now hits those. So, is the Cold Sorceress that amazing and that OP? Probably not. The difficulty is, and where you can say, yes, she still kind of is this right here kind of goes against the nature of what Diablo 2 is a little bit, which is immunities and difficulty and having a little bit more of targeted areas specifically. And that's something that I think is the argument against Sunder Charms. I still think Sunder Charms are interesting, can have some fun, can have some use. And one of the reasons I say that is because this right here is currently what the Lightning Sorceress and the Hammerden kind of already have. Obviously, it's not minus 100%, but, you know, again, Magic Immune, nobody cares about Magic Immune monsters. There's only like 3 in the game or something. So nobody cares. So Lightning Sorceresses with Infinity break pretty much every single lightning monster in the game. Thus, they can go farm pretty much anywhere they want. And Hammerdens only have magic immunes, which once again don't matter, aren't in any of the really good areas, so they can again go pretty much anywhere that they want and farm anything. Plus they have crazy great damage with it. So already we have 2 characters that can kind of do all of this. So by bringing in these Sunder Charms, they're just saying now a lot of other characters can catch up to them and also do some of that like they were doing. For instance, the Cold Source doesn't say, oh, well, the Chaos Sanctuary is kind of an iffy zone because Desace is cold immune, so I need to have a Fire Spec or let my Mercenary try and go at him, but if you roll Stone Skin, that can be annoying and blah, blah, blah. Or, oh, I can't do wave 2 of, you know, Bale because they've got all the cold Skelly mages, and that just takes forever to kill, and so, you know, and plus Lister can spawn with the cold immune, so that can be really annoying. And, oh, I can't do, you know, like, there's, you know, the skeletons in the pits are cold immune, so I can't go down, you know, there's a lot of cold immune monsters in the game and fire immune monsters in the game that prevented these characters from being in these different areas. So, again, it goes back and forth because I see both sides of the argument. The one side is Well, now there's less incentive to go create all those different characters for farming in the different zones, right? Before it's like I'd create a cold source and I'd take her to tunnels. I'd create a, pit zerker and I'd take him to Pindle and I'd take him to the pits. I'd create a lightning sorceress to go run around the chaos and whatever. I'd create, like you kind of create these different characters a little bit. But at the same time, the Lightning Sorceress and the Hammerden already existed, and they could already do all of the content, so I didn't even need to create those other characters. Because I could have always just, it's like, oh, but now I'm not going to make any other characters. It's like, yeah, but would you make any other characters besides a Hammerden currently? If yes, then you were playing, suboptimally for a lot of the stuff. You just wanted a different character because you didn't want to play Hammerden all the time. You didn't want to play the, Lightning Sorceress all the time, whatever. So, it did take the higher level gear, getting an Enigma or something, which is a difference here. Right now, your Cold Sorceress doesn't need as strong of gear to be able to go and do this stuff. But Hammerdens also really don't need a lot of gear to be insanely strong. Enigma definitely speeds it up a little, but they also could just run around and blow stuff up. So I feel like we're still going to play a lot of those other characters because it's still fun to play other characters. I don't think something like the Cold Source is the most OP thing ever. I do think a lot of it is, like I said before, it kind of brings the power level up of other characters towards that of the Hammerden and the Light Source, which are at this level. So it's bringing up a lot of those lower builds that are fire, are cold damage, or whatever, and just can't reach there because even with great gear, Infinity doesn't help against cold immunes, right? It breaks maybe like 2 cold immunes in the game or something. It's like terrible. So, you can't get to those points. So, yeah, I don't think it's as OP and ridiculous as people say and think it is. I think it can bring good change for allowing more than just the Hammerden and the Light Source to be that top end. But I also can recognize that it is making the game a little easier in that later stage. It is making it so there is less of the you need to be this and this and this, and you need to kind of swap around, and this character can't be in here, you need to skip past it and whatever. Now it's you can go kill anything with any of them instead of just with the Hammerden or just with the Light Source. But again, was there a crazy reason before to play anything, never play anything other than Cold Source? You could have said the exact same thing before, because the only difference was this. That was it. So it's like, okay, I could still take the Cold Source to many areas and still farm and find lots of GG items and still kill all the bosses and still do all the stuff with my Blizzard Source before. Now it can do a little bit more, but I don't think it changes a ton in that regard. I think people are overreacting to something like the Cold Sorceress, though I do think she does improve. I think a lot of characters improve as well, and it just kind of gets, again, a little bit more towards that line where there's a lot more diversity, which you can argue is a good thing or a bad thing, because some people say they prefer having the different tiers and keeping it more like that, and this, can potentially lead to more just homogenization, right? And if you get too much like that, then you can start to get into trouble, I feel like. Anyways, I'll leave it there. We can go on and on about it forever, but that's my thoughts, especially in regards to Cold Source and all of this. Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe, YouTube. Peace, everybody.